Okay, so this question reads, which fan will support the glider's takeoff better, A or B? And if there's no difference, mark C. So in situation A, we have a fan blowing air towards the face of the aircraft. And in situation B, we have air being blown towards the tail of the aircraft. And before we consider either situation in more detail, let's first establish the forces that could or typically do act on aircraft and that are involved in its flight. So first of all, we have the gravitational force, G. This is a downward force. We have the upward force, lift, which is what's responsible for making aircraft airborne to begin with. Then we have the oppositional drag force, which emerges essentially from planes flying into these large, heavy walls of static air. And then we have thrust, which is what's responsible for propelling a plane forwards and typically plays a central role in generating lift. So these are the four forces that we should consider, and we can quickly eliminate one because this is a glider, not a plane. There's no engine, and therefore there's no thrust. Now, of course, the gravitational force is present, lift is necessary for flight, and drag will always be present if we're talking about any aircraft flying essentially at any speed. So now, if we consider the two situations in more detail, in case A, again, we have air coming towards the face, but it's actually better to think about it in terms of where the air is going with respect to the wings. So aircraft wings are designed to restrict airflow above the wing and promote airflow below the wing. And what this does is you essentially create a vacuum. So imagine this is a gap absent of air, and then you have a ton of air passing underneath. Well, again, you create this vacuum, and that's what's responsible for creating lift that forces the plane upwards. So situation A, having air below towards the face and interact with the wings in this manner, would be helpful in generating lift, and because there's no thrust and we need lift, this is good for the glider's takeoff. Now again, if we consider B, where air is traveling towards the tail, we don't have the same situation. We're not going to have lift generated through interaction with air and the wings, as in case A. It will provide some small amount of thrust, but a very trivial amount that couldn't sustain flight. So again, which fan will support the glider's takeoff better? Well, A promotes lift, and B provides a little bit of thrust. So A will better support the glider's takeoff.